Hey everybody, welcome back. I've got some great news for you. That is, the royal family have officially ended their holiday break. So we now have the royals back, and I will be talking about them all week long. Not just those ex-royals, but the real royals. And I can't wait. I'm super excited. But I'm also very excited to tell you guys about the weekend I just had. I did post that little video because obviously it did look a little bit like Pride and Prejudice where we were. Lots of you got it as well. We were all expecting Mr. Darcy to walk up with his shirt open with the coat flapping in the wind as the mist and the sun rose in the background. But we did not, and my husband was not playing ball. Completely unfair, I know. Now, the reason why we were in Somerset is because we went to Longleat Zoo. And I'm going to tell you all about that in tomorrow's video because this is quite a long video as it is. But I will do what I did last time. I will put the time that you can skip to if you don't want to hear about what I've been up to because it seemed to work really well. Everybody's happy. So that works for me, it works for you. So where we're going to start. Let's start with Sophie, everyone's favourite. Well, there's lots of favourites, but Sophie is definitely many of your favourites. And the Duchess of Edinburgh was actually holding an event at her house, a very small event, but she is the patron of the UK guide dogs. As part of this small charity event, she had invited Mary Pittman and her gorgeous pooch called Piper to her home in Bagshot Park to give Piper her retirement medal. Piper is one of many hundreds of guide dogs that retire each year, and Piper, like so many, although she is hanging up her reins, as it were, she will remain the family dog. Sometimes it's in the best interest for guide dogs to be rehomed, especially if the owner will be out and about with their new companion or circumstances have changed and they can no longer look after the dogs themselves. But guide dogs rehoming, they actually find new families for them. The dogs tend to retire around the age of 8 to 10. So please, if you are thinking of getting an older dog, it might be worth considering. You know me, you know I love my rescue dogs. I know not everyone can do rescue dogs, especially if you've got young children, but I am a true believer of the if you can, adopt, don't shop. Now let's move on to one of my other favourite royals, Prince William, the man himself, the heir to the throne, the future king. Well, he has been he visited, shall we say. He's not like Meghan and Harry, spotted by paparazzi. He went to an event at Pret-a-Manger in Bournemouth. This is all to do with his Homeward initiative that was started up earlier this year by the Royal Foundation, where it aims to end homelessness in the UK in the next 5 years. The Prince of Wales was looking rather dashing in a blue blazer, meeting the huge turnout outside the shop. Basically, once word got out, everyone flocked there from the town centre and it got incredibly busy. Now, the reason why Prince William was visiting Pret-a-Manger is Pret, much like lots of other companies in the area, they have shown support to the Helping Homeless initiative called Homeward. Now, aside from the crowds that have all turned up and all of these business people to meet the Prince, we had a surprise appearance from Gaza, footballing legend Paul Gascoigne, who was there. And I have to say, it's so nice to see him looking so healthy. For those of you that don't know, Paul, unfortunately, has suffered with lots of alcohol and drug addictions throughout his life. And it is so nice to see him now. And he just looks really, really happy. Now, he was there to greet Prince William and he gave him a kiss on the cheek. Now, Prince William isn't the only royal that Gaza has landed a cheeky peck on. And actually, in 1991 at the FA Cup final, the former England player gave a very gentlemanly kiss onto the back of the hand of Prince William's mother, the late Princess Diana. So clearly he is still a charmer of the royals. Now, he wasn't the only person to make a surprise appearance at Pret-a-Manger. The second person was a big issue seller called Carl Burns. He was selling locally nearby, and when he heard of the visit, people had said Prince William's here, so he thought that he would pop along and see if the Prince would like one of the magazines. He spotted Gaza going in, so went over to one of the protection officers and asked if he could donate a magazine to Prince William on behalf of the Big Issue. William, who has sold the magazine himself to raise awareness of homelessness and people living on the streets, he was genuinely delighted to meet Carl, and he naturally bought a copy off of him. And then he also left a message with the manager that Carl's lunch was on him that day. And I just thought it was just a very, very lovely surprise moment. Prince William wasn't expecting it. Carl wasn't expecting it himself. And I just think that's absolutely wonderful that he popped along there just to give Prince William a copy of the magazine, which obviously costs him money. They have to pay for it before they sell it. And I just thought it was one of those really beautiful moments that just got me a little bit emotional, you know? Now, speaking of emotional, I couldn't do anything video-wise to do with the Queen. I was watching so many of the tributes, and I think because it was the first year, we had a lot of the funeral and all of the different activities that the public did and attended, and it just got me so upset. And I know it's really, really silly, but for me, I don't know, as I've said before, perhaps it's just, it hits home. It reminds us all of people that we've loved and lost. But the Queen was, for many of us, was the nation's great grandma or grandma. You know, we saw a lot of our elderly relatives in her, so it was quite upsetting. So yeah, I decided to sit that one out because I don't want to be like one of those Instagrammers that films myself crying. So let's get on to another royal that we love, and that is the Princess of Wales, who not only is sporting a little bit of a tan, she's got a lovely, luscious new hairstyle. The princess was attending the Rugby World Cup between England and Argentina in Marseille in France, and Catherine looked absolutely beautiful, immaculate in an Alexander McQueen suit. Now, it clearly wasn't just me who was excited to see her and thought that she looked absolutely lovely, but the crowds. When she came up on the big screen, everybody was cheering louder and louder, and Catherine got a little bit shy, you could tell, as she waved to people, and it was just a really, really sweet moment. Now, obviously, Catherine did give us some good vibes, some good jujus, because England won against Argentina 27-10. So it was a very, very good game. Now, several French dignitaries met with the princess after the game. Everybody looked delighted to be around her. And I have to say, I was a little bit delighted to watch Catherine as she went into the players' changing rooms afterwards. All I can say is, can you guys just keep an eye out for me? If you see a job advert coming up at any point for Catherine needs, you know, a new assistant, especially to help with the rugby, I volunteer as tribute. Now, as funny as I am, I've got to tell you about a YouTube video that you can watch after me if you want to watch royals interact, and it's genuinely lovely and funny, and it's called The Good, the Bad and the Rugby. You have presenter Alex Payne alongside England legend Mike Tindall, who is of course Zara Tindall's husband, Princess Anne's son-in-law, and also his friend James Haskell. Now, those three together are entertaining as it is, but they were doing a sit-down interview chat with the Princess Royal, which must have been awkward for Mike, and the Prince and Princess of Wales, and it's an absolute gem. It gives you a lovely insight to their family dynamics, their sense of humour. It's very candid, it's very fun, and I loved every minute of it. And it's available for you to watch on YouTube. So yeah, it's one of those ones that I say it's definitely worth a watch, because you just get to see such a personable side to all of them together, and I can just imagine that family have a lot of laughs. Now, don't worry, there is a lot more royal news coming out, but I've got to break it down and split it up and try and get it to you in bite-sized pieces. So we are now sadly moving over to Montecito and also Dusseldorf, Germany, where the Invictus Games has kicked off. Now, before Harry actually flew over to Dusseldorf, he did make a surprise appearance, which isn't a surprise, a photographer happened to capture the moment of Harry, who went on a private visit to Windsor Chapel, where is the Queen and Prince Philip's resting place. Harry walked out with an open white shirt, looking more like he'd just gotten off the beach. Let's be honest, there's lots of private access points, lots of private pathways that Harry could have easily gone in and out of that chapel without being in the public view. So much like Meghan, when they're spotted, we know it's because they wanted to be seen. Now, which did cause a bit of a sour note, that Meghan, on the day that everyone was remembering the Queen, and of course there were photographs of Catherine and William attending a church service, we did, of course, have the elusive Meghan, who is always being driven and never driving herself, was pictured behind the wheel of her vehicle, a big $140,000 SUV. And it's so big. She looked like she was sunk down behind the steering wheel. She needs a booster seat. But again, no one would know that that is Meghan driving that vehicle unless you had been told that it was Meghan driving that vehicle. So again, I'm not surprised that Harry and Meghan made an appearance. I think most people did expect it. They, of course, needed to have their name in the newspapers for the association on such an important day for the royal family. But I am still a little bit disappointed in both of them. As I said, they both clearly wanted to be seen. So let's go straight over to the Invictus Games, which is going absolutely brilliantly. It looks incredible. The atmosphere, all of the families, all of the veterans, all of the love, the tears, the passion. It really is a beautiful thing to watch. And Harry has been having an absolute blast. Yes, I would even say that he's been hamming it up a little bit. And it's actually, I know that he's a jerk, but it's actually nice to see just a flicker of the old Harry. Now, more importantly, the Invictus Games is being incredibly well received. There is lots of really good media coverage, not enough in the UK as I would like, but it is certainly hitting the headlines with lots of positive coverage. So, of course, Meghan could not let Harry have that one moment, and she has done a publicity stunt, a PR stunt of her own in true Meghan style. She's been photographed driving in the car again. Now, this is done because if you look at these big vehicles, that the security vehicles that are also in tow behind them, they have blacked out windows. This was very similar to why people asked why did they get into an unsafe New York taxi rather than getting out of their huge SUVs when they were fearing for their lives and being chased by the paparazzi. And it's like, well, because the photographers couldn't get clear photographs of them in the SUVs. Now, this is the exact same reason why I believe that Meghan is the one that is driving. So you have got a nice full facial shot of a very, very smiley Meghan. Now, what makes this photograph so cringe is not to do with In-N-Out. I've actually heard from a friend of mine that In-N-Out burgers are absolutely lovely. But it's the fact that the paparazzi, the photographer, is inside In-N-Out, who is taking the photograph using a zoom lens to capture Meghan as she smiles through. Now, you don't notice it here in this shot, but then when you look closely at her sunglasses, if this was a member of staff from inside the kiosk, you'd be leaning out with your iPhone because it's bright outside and you're dark inside. And, you know, there's no reflection of anyone in her sunglasses. So that person is all the way back. Then when you look at the photo from a distance, this person is stood all the way at the front desk where you pay for your food. The poor clerk is getting his head lent out the way and people are ducking out of the way so the photographer can shove his lens straight through the middle to get that beautiful, clear shot of a clearly very happy and smiley Meghan. It is truly one of her cringeworthiest ones to date, but hey, at least she's now upgraded from being photographed in parking lots. Now, you don't need a brain cell to work out the reason why Meghan has been miraculously captured again, bearing in mind that, again, no one would know it was her unless, you know, it was pointed out that Harry has been getting attention, a lot of coverage, and she wants a slice of that pie. As I said, I cannot honestly remember the last time I saw Harry looking so happy. Even the last few Invictus Games that he's attended, obviously with Meghan, he looks like his old self this time. Aside from a few official moments where he's walking with organisers and giving speeches, he has been laughing, he has been joking, he's been playing with athletes, with kids, with family members. He is down on the benches. He's even gone as far to plant a big old smacker on US athlete Davy Martinez's head as he was handing out medals. As much as I dislike Harry for all that he's done, I still can't help but feel a twang here of how it should have been. This is what he was actually good at. Invictus is an incredible event, and whether people like it or not, the Invictus wouldn't have been created if it wasn't for Prince Harry. No one else was creating it at the time. Yes, I do believe it was lots of organisers, it was the royal family, there were lots of people, including Ed Lane Fox, that helped this all come together, but come together it did nonetheless. And as much as people are annoyed at Harry, please don't be annoyed at the Invictus Games, because it is a truly inspirational, emotional and wonderful event, and it means a lot to all of the athletes and the veterans' families, the kids that are there. Absolutely absolutely everyone. Harry, I can't deny he's been a jerk. I think he's possibly, like Andrew, been a jerk most of his life. I do think the royal family have covered up a lot of his bad behaviour over the years. However, I can definitely see how his behaviour has turned to the absolute worst. He has become the worst version of himself since he started dating Meghan. For anyone that's ever experienced it themselves, or they've got friends or family members, you've watched them enter into a narcissistic relationship, a controlling relationship, an abusive relationship. People that haven't seen it firsthand and experienced, they can't believe that one person can change someone so much. But I myself have witnessed it, as I know many of you have that have spoken out in the comments before. You wouldn't believe how much a person can change unless you've seen it firsthand yourself. They can not only disassociate from you, they can just completely cut you out of their life. They can become paranoid, vengeful, aggressive, nasty, just absolutely all of the worst traits that you couldn't even imagine. You don't recognize the person anymore. And I think very much this is what we have seen Harry go through. So to see him so happy, like this, genuinely happy, mingling with people, being his old self, it's that little bit of that's the twang I'm on about, where I can see who he was before to who he's become. But the sad thing is, as much as we have spent the last couple of days watching Harry laughing and joking and being like the old Harry, having fun with the mascots and the children, I think it's all about to change because because we have just had photographs released of Meghan arriving at Lax Airport, getting ready to fly to Dusseldorf. And I think Harry, judging by this photograph, just received the news himself. Now, these photographs that have been released of Meghan, I will say this might be the difference of how you can spot a paparazzi photograph that Meghan has arranged and ones that she hasn't. Because she has got a face like thunder in all of these, and the tense muscles on her neck. That, my friends, is someone that is not happy. Now, whether Meghan is unhappy because Harry has been spotted photographed with Beth Herlihy again, this is the woman that we saw looking a little bit doe-eyed at Harry at the Singapore match with Nacho the other month. It could be because he's looking happy, hugging one of his long-term army friends, JJ Chalmers, or maybe Meghan's just not happy that Harry is happy because he's been having lots of fun without her. So the fact that she obviously is craving the limelight, craving the attention, she can't be too happy that he has actually been having positive coverage. So on that note, she's hitched up her private jet, and she's on her way. So it's going to be very interesting in the next round of photographs in the next 24 hours. Is Harry going to change from being this fun-loving prince that he used to be, where he's actually spending time with other people and listening to the athletes and playing? Or is he going to revert back to last year's Invictus hostage Harry? Only time will tell, and of course, I will be here to let you guys know as well. So take care for now, guys. I will see you very soon. Bye.